Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the second installment of Embracing Self-Love. On today's segment, we will be talking about service. And so the best way in which I want to introduce service is by introducing a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And the quote is, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter." And so personally, the way in which I interpret the quote is that in order to live fully, we can no longer be silent or dormant about the things and the issues that mean the most to us in life. In fact, we have to allow our actions to speak louder than our words. And so, in short, to live fully is to serve. And so today, I'm taking the opportunity to interview an individual who has served tirelessly in many different capacities. I'll be asking him a series of questions, and I'm actually going to allow him the opportunity to introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Maurice Nick. I'm an international financial analyst and supply chain program planner at one of the nation's premier defense contracting companies. I'm currently in school. I'm obtaining a dual master's, MBA focused on finance, and a master's of science and supply chain. And in my spare time, which seems to be most of my time, I'm very engaged in service projects. Since a young age, I've seen how important it is to give back. Being involved in the church and growing up, my family was really involved in the community. I've always wanted to give back. So as I got older, I really started to look at the needs of my community and create programs around those areas. In recent years, I was awarded the Leadership Medal and Service Medal from the Governor of the state of Maryland, and that was primarily due to my work over the span of 2013-2014 after I graduated from the University of Maryland. I first started with a robotics camp in Annapolis for a Section 8 community because the students were denied the right to participate in the school's robotics team because they didn't feel safe dropping the kids off at home at night. So I assembled a team at my company, and we went to Robinwood in Annapolis, and we taught the students on the robotics challenge. I also participated in backpack drives. A lot of students, a lot of people in the community, they couldn't afford the school supplies, and it really wasn't until I started shopping and started soliciting donations from others that I saw how expensive that it was. A typical backpack to start a student off can run you $75 to $100, and you look at these low-income families with multiple students, that's a hefty expense to just put forth at once. I've also gone to community centers to participate in giving back food, especially in DC more so. I go out to the community, we feed them, we have service pretty much on the street, we read scriptures. And also, as doing that, I went one time in February and it was freezing. And I saw the clothing that a lot of the homeless population were wearing. And it wasn't warm clothes, it wasn't appropriate for the time of season. So I coupled that with another drive, a warm clothing drive, in which most recently last year I received over 1,000 coats and warm sweater items to take down to give out to the homeless population. So it really showed me that when you actually look in your community and you see the things that you can do personally, there's so much that can be done and anyone can actually assist.
Maurice, thank you again for coming out and participating in Embracing Self-Love.
No problem.
Appreciate you. So, each segment, I tie in a quote, a poem, and either a story, or a personal story, or a history, and really just talk about how that concept means something to me and try to figure out what it means to other individuals.
Okay.
And so the quote for this segment is, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." So I would like to ask you, how do you interpret that quote, or just what does that mean for you?
To me, that quote means really to stand up for what you believe. You said our lives stop mattering once we become silent on things that matter. So once we stop standing up for the stuff that we believe, the things that actually give us energy, that we're passionate about, then that's the joy of living, really, is to fight those battles, to assist those people, to go to those places that really mean something to you. So it sounds to me like once you stop standing up for what you believe, then all you left is the West.
Thank you for that answer, Maurice. And so something that I heard you say that I really want to talk about, flesh out a little more, is just being passionate about serving others. So when did you become really passionate about serving others?
That's a great question, by the way. I would say I really became passionate about serving others when I was placed in leadership responsibilities. And probably the most notable, the position that really gave me the fire like no other was really when I became president of the Iota Zeta chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha at the University of Maryland. And I had a group of brothers that relied on me for direction, support, a campus community that was so much wrong. And, we needed a platform. We just needed someone to step in and do something. And so at that moment, especially with the Culture of Excellence, was when I created that program for Black History Month, because there was no big program for Black History Month. And there was also no scholarship program or anything for mayors. So I wanted to fill that void. And really from there, it just spiraled and took on so many other forms, from participating in various marches while we were in college to doing food drives. And then once I got out of school, and it's interesting because when you're in school, you're able to do so many things at once. You're a student, you can be involved in a fraternity, you can be involved in a student association. But once you start working, all that free time ceases. So you're at your desk 44 hours a week, and it just became so daunting for me. And I'm like, I really need to get out in the community and do something and actually just live and enjoy life. So that's when I really started with these various other programs and just going elsewhere and looking for where the need was and how I personally could assist, and then finding those resources that I can drive into the situation. So that's really when I got the passion to start serving.
Gentleman and a scholar, Maurice Nick. So Maurice, you talked about being able to serve others, you talked about the scholarship that you had the opportunity to bring to the campus community. I really want to know, if someone came to you one day and it was a challenge, someone challenged you, make this person really want to serve, what would you tell that person? How would you challenge, how would you challenge them? How would you encourage that person to go out and serve?
I would first talk to the person and see what their interest is. A lot of times when we look at these situations or this topic, everyone thinks you have to be at a certain level. You have to be a professional in a certain field, you have to arrive to some point, but no one ever knows what that point is. So everyone's getting ready to serve instead of just jumping in and serving. So I would actually engage the individual in a conversation. What really has prevented you from serving? And then as we approach in that conversation, start pointing out those things in his or her life that with people serving unto them, they may not realize, and just how easy it really is that once you put your mind to something, you have an idea, you have a passion about something, just how serving takes so many different levels, so many different forms. It may not be anything you ever saw before, but you have the ability to serve.
So far we talked about what got you started, being passionate, giving back to others, as well as encouraging others, seeing where they're coming from, and just really getting out there and going. So can you share with us what is your most memorable moment or experience when you had the opportunity to serve?
Definitely. There are so many, but I think the one that really rings loudest in my mind is every other year I do a service trip. I try to go to a different country every other year to do a service project. And last year I went to the Dominican Republic, and it was an eye-awakening experience. I've never been to the country, but the pictures I see people posting when they go on vacation and where I actually landed were two very different places. And I had a translator with me, so it started with a church service. They had me speaking. So it was kind of weird, having the translator translate what I was saying to the people and then translating back to me some of the various comments they were making. But at one portion, we went and we brought rice and beans and we put bags together and we started to pass out in the community. And just to hear the stories that people were giving back to us on how it's been so long since they ate, and how meaningful and how important this meal would be to them, to their family. And then also I coupled it with some of the other projects. I took some warm clothes there. I took some backpacks and school supplies there. And just to see how much it assisted the community, I would have never expected the impact to be that great. And that's another thing I love about service, is just that feeling you have just doing it. I never had a bad feeling or remorseful or any way of what I did as far as a service project. So I think that experience and just that goal that I've set to go to a different country to help serve every year is really what brings loudest to me.
Thank you again, Maurice, for coming out and participating in Embracing Self-Love, sharing your experiences, your thoughts, and just how the service that you participated in not only serves you, but served many others along the way. And just continues to talk about planting these seeds, what the seeds really look like, how people are really benefiting from it, not only here, but all over the world. And so, last but not least, my final question to you is, what does embracing self-love mean to you?
Embracing self-love means a lot to me. It can mean acceptance. It means never settling. it really just goes to the situation in which the individual may find themselves. Just accepting who you are as a person, and just, you know, your makeup in the society, your demographics, just what makes you you. Accept that. Never settling, just always knowing that you can give more, you can do more, you can be better. And once you know better, definitely do better, and always achieve to push yourself in a high echelon of individuals who love themselves and who also shows the way they love themselves by loving others.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating, Maurice. And this is our second segment of Embracing Self-Love.